تكلمي.
عرايب سمعتيني؟ الو عرايب، كيف بدنا نسمع؟ عرايب
ايوه
افتحي فيديو. ايوه هلا سمعتني.
هم مش فاتحين الفيديو، يفتح الكاميرا عندهم مش مني.
سبيكرز حيستخدموها.
انا حطيتهم كو هوست.
بسم الله. قولي تسجل الايفنت قريب، تسوي ريكوردينج. ايوه يصير التواصل.
ايه
طيب انا بعرف احط كمان كو هوست لان الصوت ما يقدر يفتح. بعد كده ثاني كده حاطه
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد
are you talking about?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, but like the movement and the pen, everything. Are you sure?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with me.
Okay, I don't know what to do with that. Hello?
Hello. Hi. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. Everything is my fault. You know, the chandelier that fell last year, this was my fault. I just know everything is my fault. I know it in my bones.
Can you just sit down?
Okay. Okay.
Those are examples of people we see every day in our lives. Self-blame and the queen of all, anxiety. But what will happen if you ask those people about how do they cope with their problems? So Lulu, how do you cope with your anxiety?
I guess I just cry.
Is crying helpful for healing? We will find that out today in TEDx. And Minna, how do you cope with your self-blame situation?
I don't know. I just blame myself more. It makes it more believable that everything is my fault.
So, as you will see today, we are talking about the most ignored yet most important topic, well-being. And we will leave you to it in today's aesthetics.
قولي لهم.
Isn't something to be dared and talked about in open air. This is a message. To speak, for I'll hear you. To shout, for I'll dream you. To hold my hand, for I will guide you. Because God created us in pairs. For He knew well that humans sometimes feel so much despair. One that is easier if shared, one that cannot only be bared by one single bosom of air. I know that your silence is loud. And I know that between all these clouds, your head lies empty yet still full of doubt. I know it's hard, but it only rains pain on the strongest mountains. And with disdain, you will from the quiet erupt. You will to the sun become near. And that all your fears would be nothing but mortal glass years. Thank you.
What are you doing? Putting a lemon on your face?
Well, it's natural and organic. It's good for you.
You know the dangers of lemon.
It's well, do you know the benefits of it?
You know what? I will educate you about the dangers of lemon. From غلط وهي natural is harmful.
I put it on my
ايش بدك انت هلا؟ ايش مشكلتك؟ هيا ريمان خذي.
You might be familiar with the term natural skincare. Well, here's the thing. Many people believe passionately that natural products are better for their skin because it's made up of completely organic ingredients. When the truth is, this myth has no factual basis or scientific legitimacy. Because natural products cannot be made up of completely organic ingredients, since there is no such thing as chemical-free. For instance, water, which is aqua, is a chemical. So are the essential oils and fruits, and they're both contained in your skincare products. Well, that's not really the problem. What the problem really is that many people claim that natural ingredients are better for their skin. I hate to break it to natural skincare lovers, but it's really not. Firstly, many natural ingredients can dreadfully harm your skin. For instance, you often hear that you should use lemon juice because vitamin C is good for the skin, right? Well, that might be very tempting because lemons do not equal to pure vitamin C. According to a study in Healthline Media, claims that lemons are made up of many substances, and when exposed to UV light, it can cause DNA damage, a second-degree burn, leaves your skin dehydrated, destroy the skin's protective barrier, leaving your skin more prone to irritations, acne, and aging. Isn't that amazing? Not to mention, all of these effects are permanent, and it happens because of how highly acidic lemon is. Next, avoid using lavender oil because it can contact allergens, meaning it can cause rashes that look like eczema or poison ivy that appear on your face. Thirdly, coffee scrubs can cause microtears, which can gradually weaken the skin's protective barrier, leaving your skin more prone to flaky patches, redness, and sensitivity. You also have to know that coffee scrubs straight out of the machine aren't cosmetically smooth like products on the market. In other words, try staying out of citrus fruit extracts, essential oils, and natural scrubs. Another important thing I really want to mention is that if you really want to save your skin, then it's safer to use formulated products. The reason why it's safer is because formulated products have specific measurements, an order of ingredients added willing to create a beneficial skincare product after. For example, lemons have beneficial chemicals such as alpha hydroxy acid or AHA, which helps by breaking down the dead skin cells. However, if it's used in large amounts, then it can destroy the skin's protective barrier. Another example is papaya, which has beneficial chemicals like keypain or chemokepane, which can decrease inflammation on the skin. Although, if it's used in large amounts, then it can infrequently cause serious irritation. That is why skincare specialists try to carefully formulate products in order to produce the best results after. After all said and done, remember, it's just as important as what you put on your skin as what you put on your body. And next time, when you open the fridge and grab what is supposedly natural, that it's just a myth and a dangerous one. Thank you.
Minna, Minna, what's wrong? I don't know. I've been crying for like 2 hours. I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. It's actually kind of good for you.
Are you saying I should continue crying?
Well, Zainab says that you should. I don't know. Just let's go listen to Zainab's speech.
Okay, I guess.
Wasn't working.
So put it very close to your mouth. Okay, now it's off.
Remember that one day when your parents yelled at you and you felt so embarrassed that you wanted to cry? Or that one day you got hurt, you failed an exam and you hardly wanted to shed your tears out, but you didn't? Or that one day you got betrayed by a friend and you got hurt so much you actually wanted to cry, but you didn't? You didn't because you thought it's embarrassing. You thought it's weak to be seen crying. But what you don't know is that you're missing on massive benefits when you hold up your cry. You might choose to not believe me, and to that I say, may I convince you, since I had the same opinion in the past. But with time, I actually believe that crying is mandatory for healing. I have always felt so good after a good cry, and I bet you did as well, which led me to wonder why that happens. Surprisingly, I found out that crying releases feel-good hormones and chemicals. These feel-good hormones and chemicals helps your body and mind return to their normal states, which is basically altering from a bad mood into a good one. And according to a psychologist, once said that crying, that people may be restoring emotional equilibrium, and with these expressions, and people who do this seem to recover better from strong emotions. It's not only the heart and the soul that are healed when you cry, but also your heart, but also your eyes will thank you as well, since crying also improves vision. Did you know that tears made up by your lacrimal gland can, can clear up your vision by moisturizing it and allowing smooth movement for the eyeballs and eyelids? Tears are powerful. They kill bacteria, they hydrate your eyes, they save they save your eyesight from blurriness. If that's not it, then what is? So think of tears as a bath. Can you live without one? No, neither your eyes. Once again, I'll repeat this. Crying is a sign that helps in healing. And for every person that still has a doubt that crying actually helps in relieving the pain, just try it out. Whenever you're facing a problem, go to an empty room and cry for as long as you want. And you understand what I'm talking about. And never think of seeing yourself as weak or feel ashamed when you cry. Instead, feel comprehend and believe that you cry to release the pain. And never forget that crying is the only way your eyes speak when your mouth can't explain how things made your heart broken. Thank you.
We often hear many cliches every day, one of which is actions speak louder than words. But do they really? Amin Muhammad will present a poem that will change your perspective on this cliche. Actions always speak louder than words. But then what do you say when you see the speeches of the greats that fought for freedom in many ways? The common along them was the power of the word. Actions always speak louder than words. But then what do you say when you see a parent destroying his son, but you are a failure? Aren't those words? Actions always speak louder than words. But then what do you say when you see a person homeless in the street just because they heard you are fired? Aren't those words? Actions always speak louder than words. But then what do you say when you see a person walking on the moon just because they heard I love you? Aren't those words? Actions always speak louder than words. But then what do you say? But then why do I see you crying by the end of a story? Well, the story's one and only glory is that it's made up of words. Actions, aren't they influenced by words? Thank you. Um, I broke my favorite mug. It meant so much to me. Now it's just useless.
So what are you going to do with it?
Throw it away, of course. No, it is.
A week ago, my money box that my friend gave me for my birthday in elementary school broke to pieces. I was depressed. I got into a whole breakdown mode. I cried and I cried. My eyes became red shots as a vampire's. My nose doubled its size. And here and there, I decided I would fix it and put all the pieces back together. But then I stopped and asked myself, why do I have to this back? A week ago, my money box that my friend gave me for my birthday in elementary school broke to pieces. I was depressed. I got into whole breakdown mode. I cried and I cried. My eyes became bloodshot as a vampire. My nose doubled its size. And here and there, I decided I would fix it and put all the pieces back together. But then I stopped and asked myself, why do I have to mend it back together? I've done this fixing till now. Why don't I just create something different, something better? Because what is broken cannot return, but those pieces can create. So why don't we see the beauty in broken things? You see, in Japan, they have an art called kintsugi, which comes from their ancient wabi-sabi philosophy, which means to find beauty in broken or old things. Now, although in the art of kintsugi, they repair broken pottery, they do it by filling the cracks with gold, silver, or titanium. And that emphasizes the acceptance and beauty of imperfection. The broken things can have a great purpose as those that seem complete. And so we need Japan's ancient philosophy in our lives more than ever, because we constantly pressure ourselves, we self-criticize, we shame ourselves for our flaws, but imperfection is beauty. Madness is genius, and it's better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring, as Marilyn Monroe once said. And do you know what she also said? She said sometimes good things fall apart so better things fall together. That hit hard on so many levels. You see, years ago, I was training to be an Olympiad student in mathematics, twice actually, then in science, then finally in chemistry. And you see, I didn't make it in mathematics nor in science, but my future in those areas fell apart. But better things fell together, and now I'm over a year in training to be the International Olympiad chemistry team. So you see, things can break into sharp pieces that can break you down, but they can also create something far greater. And that's exactly what happens in mosaic arts. We break and cut to have one of the most beautiful pieces of art. So from this day forward, I vow, as we all should, to not mourn what broke for what it was, but to visualize what it can and will be, something far more beautiful. Thank you.
Wow, it looks so cool. Where did you get it from?
I don't know, just some cheap generic store.
Are you kidding me? Again, how many times did I tell you about the negatives of fast fashion?
I don't even know what fast fashion is.
Okay. We'll know what fast fashion is through Fatma Ghanam's speech, The Monster in Our Closet.
Who here has committed crimes against fashion? I sure have. There's this one in 2007, this one in 2009, and this one in 2011. But if you think about it, my every fashion disaster was enabled by the fast fashion industry. And for that reason and many more, I believe that fast fashion shouldn't exist. But what is fast fashion? But what is fast fashion and why is it so harmful? Well, fast fashion is defined as inexpensive clothing produced rapidly by mass market retailers in response to the latest trends. And rapidly here is an understatement. The fast fashion industry produces 80 billion tons of clothing a year, 400% of what it did 20 years ago. But the issue here, however, is in the health and safety conditions of workers in the garment making industry. Workers are forced to work in overcrowded buildings that lack ventilation, have no clean water, and have restricted access to bathrooms. Buildings and materials contain a lot of hazardous chemicals that are dangerous for workers. Workers are also subjected to abuse and violence in the workplace. A devastating example of the terrible working conditions is the Rana Plaza building collapse of 2013 in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Many workers of well-known garment sellers reported cracks in the buildings to managers. Managers ignored all warnings of evacuation and ordered workers back to work. And thus, 1,129 workers died in the collapse and thousands more were injured. In these terrible conditions, workers work 11 to 14 hours a day. Workers are forced into working 11 to 14 hours a day and are forced into working overtime. They work 18 hours a day in peak season. And workers who refuse overtime are either fined or fired. And in these terrible conditions, workers are only paid about 33 cents an hour, barely half of what they need to survive. And don't even get me started on all the environmental issues surrounding the fast fashion industry. Fast fashion produces more greenhouse gas emissions than aviation and international shipping combined. This means that the industry produces 10% of global carbon emissions. And all those emissions produce 85% of those textiles, they all go to landfill. So you heard me right, all of humanity's closets and stores are only 15% of the clothing we have, and the rest is burnt away in landfill. And so, and according to the UN, it's only getting worse from here. Textile waste is expected to increase by 60% by the year 2030. So what can we do about this? Well, according to Kristen Leo, a sustainable fashion YouTuber, we can abide by the 5 R's of sustainability, which are refuse, reduce, repair, refuse, reduce, repair, reuse, and recycle. First, we refuse. So we say no to buying items impulsively just because they're cheap. And then second, we reduce. So buying less clothing in general. Third, we reuse. It is always useful to think of buying clothing as only buying clothing when you can wear an item of clothing 30 times. And fourth, we repair. So if an item of clothing rips or stains, we can cover it up through embroidery or sewing. Fifth, we recycle. So we can give clothing to family or friends, or we can turn it into other items like wall tapestries or cleaning rags. Lastly, I want to leave you all with one final thought. At this very moment, there are people, children even, bending over sewing machines. It is so crowded, they can barely breathe. And we have the audacity to walk through our gigantic malls and buy their blood, sweat, and tears for dirt cheap. And so if we can all make this choice together, fast fashion brands will begin to notice and take steps towards upholding our humanitarian and environmental standards. Thank you. I kept getting distracted by the slides.
Imagine yourself. Imagine yourself in the year of 2076, where this crisis is finally over for some time. Your head is filled with white strands as you're sitting on your red couch. You're a granny now. And as your grandchild bursts, Granny, why on earth am I grounded? Your mind flashbacks to the year of 2020. And you think, if only I was grounded and not quarantined. But don't close your eyes, because this flashback needs an open eye with Raihana and Minna Ahmed.
give Rayhana some more. I need the mic. ريحانة معك المايك. استهدي بالله حبيبتي, what's wrong with you? You really think that I haven't been grounded like ever? Honey, I was quarantined. It's worse than being grounded. Back in my day. تعالي هنا يا بنت, تعالي. You have to hear this. Please don't. Please. It was the year of 2020. كلنا رحنا على البيت after a normal boring day at school. And just as the clock struck 9, school was no more, or so we thought.
Oh, it couldn't be that bad, could it? We got a free vacation, not a school.
Free vacation? If only. We were excited at first, but after that, and just the next day, we did school, only online.
Oh, this is school? And what's so weird about that, Granny? School has always been online for us. What else did you do that was different than that?
Oh, I was waiting for this question. Sit around يا حبيبتي واسمعي الحكاية والقصة اللي انخلقت منها الفيديو.
People find what it seems that the million finger cuts just to keep them clean. Children with muffled shrieks be screaming under the mask they want ice cream. But the mothers are very confused, implemented with the doctor's streets. Empty shelves collecting dust, people not doing what they must. Igniting the go. Full of speculations on the road. Who did this? Where do we go?
But Granny, tell me about your time in the house. What did you do? I would have stayed in my room all day.
Of course we did like any other day. Sit in our room expecting no further education. Watching videos, working on the play. As life found its way, families had no other way but to face each other every day. And on this, getting like around here and there, and the onions each scent never here. The kitchen became a loud atmosphere. Even the father was scared. When everything happened, the pool all the kitchen was their victim of fear. And the poor mothers, how to eat that fat, how they
Really? Everyone like they all baked?
and the liquor coffee has a special aura. For no one could get its recipes. No love wasn't that great. We drank it anywhere. And oh, what can I say about the games we played? The Ludo, each winning was counted unfair. Unless it's two, then it's one that's fair. Even the shops had to make clear that they had no room.
That sounds so interesting, Granny. Can we do some of this activity later?
Each one of us went on their own feet. For some, it passed with speed, but for others, they stopped for the feet. For each source, there were things that bring us close. And from the construction blooms the flower of humanity. Seconds are bound together. We cannot feel it. It's part of us now. And in one way or another, it
prepared us for many years, many things to go. And now, my dear, I hope it's clear. The story wonders here.
I'm so sorry, Granny, have to go through that time. Now, can you tell me more stories about 2020, please?
Didn't you say what more to do?
Well,
I love medicine. I'm willing to become a doctor and I'm willing to give my life to medicine.
stop. Have you never heard of curiosity? It's so much more important than passion.
Hey, Yasser, what proof do you have?
Are you trying to challenge me? You want proof? I'll give you concrete proof from what did I say you speech, The Power of Curiosity.
I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you. Follow your passion. I'm here to tell you. Follow your passion. Or passion will shape your entire life. Or are you passionate enough to go through? Are completely inaccurate phrases. In fact, they're going to put you in much pain if you don't follow them precisely. Thus, I suggest that you never follow them. Or else, I suggest you follow the smartest, Albert Einstein, when he said, I have no special talent, I'm only passionately curious. Just like that, shift your passion to curiosity, because being curious comes before finding a passion. But why is that? It's because just like a pair of shoes that were trapped in a box throughout the shipping process, passion traps you in a box. A box of a box of undiverse professions, of unextraordinary people, and of typical thoughts. In fact, Cal Newport, a professor in the Department of Computer Science at Georgetown University, defines the passion trap as the more emphasis you place on finding work you love, the more unhappy you become when you don't love every minute of work you have. This can be explained by this example. After watching a styling show on TV, Nora fell in love with styling and decided to pursue it as a passion. She worked hard until she got the personal stylist job she dreamed of. Naturally, we would think that she would be dancing out of content. She loved her job, loved her clients, even her boss. But sadly, she wasn't. It's unfulfilling, she said. She then restarted the research of her life's work. See, Nora's story is the best example to illustrate the passion trap. Even what she thought of as a dream job turned into an imperfect reality. Unhappiness followed. Only if she was more curious and flexible with her choices, she might have found a better job that grants her happiness. Another reason as to why we should be more curious is before we become passionate is that passion, in terms of pursuing one path or one interest, makes people closed-minded, while curiosity makes people open-minded. See, the definition of the word open-minded, as defined by Oxford Dictionary, means willing to listen to, think about, or accept different ideas. And that is exactly the definition of curiosity. Now, if a person by an early age thinks that his or her passion is, let's say, biology, they will probably follow the 7 steps of achieving a dream. And by step 6, which is to work hard for it, they will put all their focus on it, regardless of their change of heart or their low grades in biology, or even their discovery that biology is not for them. See, some people choose to pursue passions because they're just passions, not taking into consideration other possibilities. And unfortunately, in their heated pursuit, become less curious. And that is how a person becomes close-minded to the different fields in life. Therefore, in order to be open-minded, especially with something that might change the course of your life, you must be curious. A third reason as to why we should be more curious before we become passionate about the field is that the world is changing at a fast pace that even our dreams and passions now won't be able to keep up with. What does that mean? I believe we all agree that we're not born knowing what our passion is, nor every single job that exists. LinkedIn also believes so. They stated that 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 haven't been invented yet. Now tell me, how can we just pick a random passion by an early age when we don't know what the future holds for new interesting fields? It's like designing and sewing a dress today to be worn in 5 or 6 years. Do you think it will fit? This reminds me when I was 5. I wanted to be an Egyptian doctor. But after everyone questioned my weird desire to change my nationality, I then wanted to be an actress. 2 years later, I wanted to be a scientist who would invent a machine that would help every single person on this planet. This dream lasted until I studied what a cell is and then completely hated science. In 5th grade, I wanted to be an Islamic teacher. Not until 7th grade when I wanted to be an English literature professor. And now, 2 years later, I'm interested in either being a lawyer or an architect. And God knows when I'll ever change those desires. Now, the solution for both me and you is to search and explore whatever this world holds from new interesting fields, from diverse fields, and then be able to judge what works best for us. So let's go search about the most interesting fields in life, try every single one of them, read books about them, watch documentaries about them. Let's take it seriously and call it the journey of curiosity. Did you ever try teaching? No? Then go teach, even if it seems hard. Did you ever try reading about history? No? Then go read, even if it seems tedious. Did you ever try painting or playing tennis? Then what are you waiting for? Go try new things and explore this fascinating world and leave limits chilling on the other side of the road. Thank you.
Yes, right.
And now, after this amazing speech by Wes, we will now hear Minna Muhammad's speech about. Uh, uh, I'm so sorry. I practiced so much yesterday. I stayed up all night to memorize this introduction, and still I forgot it. Oh God, what did I do? What did I do to deserve this? Ah, how ironic. Today's speech by Minna Muhammad is What Did I Do? Today's speech title by Minna Muhammad is titled What Did I Do to Deserve This?
Have you have you ever had a school project that you worked for relentlessly, but the results were a failure? What was the first question that popped up in your mind? What did I do to deserve this? Have you ever had a married friend who worked so hard to make the marriage work, but ended up with a divorce anyway? What was the first question that popped up in his or her mind? What did I do to deserve this? Have you ever studied for an uncountable number of hours preparing for an important test, but you still didn't get your desired mark? What was the first question that popped up in your mind? What did I do to deserve this? Have you ever had a friend who determinedly practiced piano, but his or her pieces ended up being sloppy and unprofessional? What was the first question that popped up in his or her mind? What did I do to deserve this? The situations and times in which we ask that particular question can be endless. But what are the consequences of asking such a question? How can asking what did I do to deserve this as a habit result in disastrous consequences? And how can we stop those negatives? That's exactly what I'm willing to discuss with you today. So first, asking a question like what did I do to deserve this activates what I like to call the frustrated brain mode. So what does that mean? That basically means that the occurrence of bad situations activates the brain area responsible for processing emotions like fear, anger, and anxiety, which is called the amygdala. What this area does is that it activates the stress response system in your brain, making you physically and mentally prepared to respond to a threat. So with all the stress going around in your body and brain, the areas responsible for making good judgments, the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, began suffering a loss of neurons, affecting your ability of making good judgments, as well as decreasing the levels of serotonin, the hormone that's responsible for making you feel feelings like joy and happiness. And with less serotonin, you begin having physical pain, as well as amplifying anger. And this is how such a question can affect you psychologically. Another consequence that comes from asking such a question is jumping to false and unnecessary conclusions. An example of this is saying, I must have done something to deserve the pain, or God doesn't like me. And the best way to describe this was in Surah Al-Fajr, when God said, فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن. This verse can clearly show us that it's natural for us to jump to false and unnecessary conclusions. But what it also tells us is that we need to acknowledge the fact that God honors and favors us, and that He will never do something that's bad for us. Now, after we came across the consequences of asking, what did I do to deserve this? We need to know how to cut off that bad habit. What are the solutions? So one of the most important solutions is paying attention to your self-talk. And as Chick Mormon said, author of the book Toxins to Yourself, Personal and Language Power, once you notice your thoughts and actions, you are in a position to alter them. This puts you in control. So whenever you actually start tracing your thoughts, habits, and actions, you can change them. Another solution that's really helpful is believing in your own ability of making your own solution, as well as believing in the fact that God will help you. So whenever you pass by bad times, you need to believe that God is helping you, as well as believing in your own ability to craft your own end, your own solution. And the best way that described this was in Surah Ash-Shu'ara, when God said, فَلَمَّا تَرَاءَ الْجَمْعَانِ قَالَ أَصْحَابُ مُوسَى إِنَّا لَمُدْرَكُونَ قال كلا إن معي ربي سيهدين فأوحينا إليه أن اضرب بعصاك الحجر فانفلق فكان كل فرق كالطود العظيم. In those verses, Moses had a solid belief that God is helping him and that God will guide him, while the people believe that they're going to be sleeping with the fishes tonight. In those verses, we can see that you can change bad times you're passing by if you change the mindset you're planning on thinking with.
And the last thing I want to leave you with is that before you start losing faith and before you start jumping to false and unnecessary conclusions, and before you even start thinking about the solutions, remember that God said, وما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها إن ذلك على الله يسير. And for this reason and many more, you should cut off the habit of asking, what did I do to deserve this? Thank you.
Good afternoon, grade 9. Good afternoon, audience. We take a break for a few minutes. We would love it if you leave grade 10 few comments on the Padlet. Grade 9 specifically, you need to leave it with your name because I'm taking attendance through this Padlet. We would love to hear what would be good if we're going to repeat this time. What have you noticed that was worth commenting on? So we'll leave you for 5 to 7 minutes and then we'll come back to continue TEDx. See you later. Okay, I hope you relaxed and you had a pleasant time reviewing. That's really cool. Thank you. We'll resume TEDx in a few minutes. Tune in. I can't hear you. Say, talk.
Okay. Am I audible now? أيوة. خلاص كده.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm grounded again. This could not be happening. I told Noor and Fajr I will go out with them next Friday. This is so unfair.
استهدي بالله حبيبتي, what's wrong with you?
You wouldn't know, Granny. You never get grounded.
You really think that I haven't been grounded like ever? Honey, I was quarantined, which is worse than being grounded. Back in my day.
Oh boy, here we go again. Bye, Granny. I just remembered something. Bye.
Come here, ya bint. You have to hear the story.
I don't want, please.
Okay. It was the year of 2020. كلنا رحنا على البيت after a long boring day at school. And just as the clocks struck 9, school was no more, or so we thought.
Oh, I have heard about 2020, but I mean, it couldn't be that bad, could it? We got a free vacation, no school.
Free vacation? If only. School, just the next day, we did school online.
And what's so weird about that, Granny? School has always been online for us. What else did you do that was different?
Oh, I was waiting for this question. Sit around يا حبيبتي واسمع الحكاية والقصة اللي انخلقت منها البداية. Sanitizers everywhere, up and left and in the air, people buying what it seems like 1 million paper packs just to keep them clean. Children with muffled masks, they scream. Under the mask, they want ice cream. But the mothers too wary, they refuse, implementing what the doctors choose. Empty shelves, collecting dust, people not doing what they must, igniting a fuss wherever they go. Fuller speculations on the row. Who did this and where do we go?
But Granny, tell me about your time in the house. What did you do? I would have stayed in my room all day.
Of course we did, like any other day. Sit in our rooms expecting no further decay, watching TikToks and learning dances on replay. But as life found its way, families had no other way but to face each other every day. لما انقفل الباب على الباب أغراب صاروا صحاب وانحطت الإيد في الإيد عشان يسلوا الوقت خلال التبعيد. Game nights erupted here and there, and the lemon cake scent never left the air. The kitchen became a lab not spared. Even the fathers had a role in this fair. لما زهقوا من القعدة من البيت لفوه أوضة and the kitchen was their victim in parade. And the poor mothers حطوا الإيد على الخد وحاولوا يمنعوا المطبخ من إنه يولع وتحصل مشاكل هالقد.
Really? Everyone, like, they all baked?
Bus baked. They cooked like there's no tomorrow. And the whipped coffee had its special aura, for no one could get its recipe straight. And although it wasn't that great, we drank it anyways. And oh, what can I say about the games that we played? The Ludo, each winning was counted unfair. Unless it's yours, then it's one to spare. And the Kerem, اللي خلص من كتر الطوابير, even the shops had to make it clear that they had no more Kerem to sell in fear.
That sounds so interesting, Granny. Can we do some of this activity later?
Sure, ya habibti, but to make it clear, the time was bittersweet. Each one of us dealt with it on their own treat. For some, it passed in speed. Yet for others, they suffered a great deal. But these crises are the things that brings us closer. For from its destruction blooms the flower of humanity and tightens our bond together. We cannot hate it because, in one way or another, it's part of us now. It helped us grow and prepared us for many years and many things in life to go. And now, my dear, I hope it's clear the story of 2020, this wondrous year.
I'm so sorry, Granny. Have to go through that time. Now, can you please tell me more stories about 2020?
Didn't you say you have homework to do, young lady?
It all started when I was in grade 9, at the edge of meeting with the ultimate enemy, high school. I was so stressed out that I barely got any sleep. Initially, I searched for ways to heal my soul. I came through a lot of articles, studies, and even videos. But only one article stood out to me, and it said to meditate. At first, I was going to click on the left arrow to go back, just like I did to the other articles. But I stopped and thought about it a little more. However, I came to a conclusion that I hated the idea of meditating. The thought of shutting off my son from the world in a dark room for 30 minutes is certainly terrifying for me. And I strongly believed that it wouldn't cause a change. But what I realized after going through the article is that meditation is much, much more than just locking yourself in a dark room, and much, much more than just what we know. So, in this speech, I'm going to take you through a journey that is filled with both exciting information and a valuable ending. All we know about meditation is close your eyes, inhale, hold your breath, and exhale. But meditation is immeasurably more than that. I once came through a line that stated that meditation is a practice of concentrated focus upon a sound, object, movement, or attention itself. So I understood that meditation is where you focus all of your senses on one single thing. And this concentration was proven by over 200 studies that it was especially effective for reducing stress, helping anxiety, and making a creative person. But the question remains, how does it work? How does it reduce your stress and actually help you? So science proved that when practicing meditation, your brain changes in size physically. As an example, the gray matter located in your brain's amygdala, which is an area responsible for controlling your stress, could become smaller in size when practicing meditation, which as a result would make you less stressed. Likewise, another area located in your prefrontal cortex, which is an area responsible for outlining, problem solving, and controlling your emotions, could become thicker when practicing meditation, which as a result would make you more creative. So that's why acquiring the habit of meditation is so beneficial for you. Now, I'm sure after I explained all of this information, you're asking yourself, well, how do I meditate? However, there is no single answer to that question, since there are hundred of ways to meditate. But one way is called mindfulness breathing meditation. And that's what I'd like to do with you today. So I need to start with your position. But before I go ahead, I'd like to mention that meditation doesn't always have to be on the floor in the middle of your dark room. You can do it on a chair or on a bed, our favorite place, of course. But because we're in Zoom, we do it together on a chair. So I actually prefer to do it on the floor because your body would be stiff on a chair and it's more comfortable on the floor. Well, let's do it on a chair since we're on Zoom. So first, start with the position. Your spine should be erect, or let's say your back should be straight. And please leave a space between the chair's back and your own back. And if you're not comfortable enough, you can add a pillow under you as represented in the photo. Chin parallel to the floor or face facing forward. Palms on top of each other and facing upward on your lap. And legs located about 90 degrees. And now I'm going to present to you a video or a dot in front of you in the presentation. And I want you to follow it. So let's start. Inhale, hold your breath, and exhale. So we went through that so quickly. I now want you to notice the break that occurs between inhaling and exhaling. are the bridge that occurs between inhaling and exhaling. And let's start over again. So start with inhaling. Hold your breath. And breathe out. And now I told you to notice the break that occurs between inhaling and exhaling because it's proven that it could relieve your body more and it can make you more comfortable. So we want to go over that again, and now we want to do it perfectly. So let's start with inhaling. Hold it. One more time, one more last time. Hold it. Now, in the end, that's that meditation that I'm talking about. It's not just the mere act of locking yourself in a dark room for 30 minutes. It's the act of relaxing your soul. It's the act of reducing stress. It's the act of changing yourself to the better. Thank you for listening.
Again.
Okay, I was telling you yesterday that the mic. Hello. Yeah. And then there came up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Attention, this is addiction.
No, this is not. Everyone does that. It's normal.
It is not normal. And I'm going to personally prove this to you by Anjal Josep's speech, how social media changes us into addicts.
How many of you here have checked your socials today? Please, if you did, raise your hands. Okay, wow, almost everyone here. Now, how many of you have checked it in between speeches? How many of you are checking it right now? See, we're slowly turning into addicts and we don't even know it. Sadly, we call this normal, which is not normal whatsoever, especially as teenagers. We say phones for excessive day. Social media has multiple ways to manipulate us teenagers into craving more time on it. Now, have you ever visited a website and this pop-up banner shows up and without even thinking about it, you press accept? Well, that is called a cookie banner. And congratulations, with clicking accept, you have now allowed the website to access everything on your device. Same goes for the terms and conditions of social media. When you sign up for a new account, and there would be this long list of terms and conditions that you and I don't even bother to read, because who has the time for that? And we would just simply scroll. Well, when we do that, we're allowing those websites and social media platforms to track everything on our devices. Cookies are insanely used in our world today. Everything in the software industry uses this type of algorithm. Now, let's set an example. You search up something like best colleges in the Middle East.
And then 2 days later, you sign up, you search up a new website, and there will be this ad about a college. This is the active cookies. Though it might seem as only marketing technique, in reality, it pulls and attracts you, which makes you spend even more time on your device. Another active cookie that I personally experimented with is that I said the word ring in front of my phone a couple of times. And then 2 hours later, my social media feed was filled with ads about rings. And because I'm interested in that topic, I'll gladly press on the link, which makes me spend even more time on my device. These mere gestures is how they keep you and I hooked. Another way they keep us hooked are likes. Now, the like button initially made to spread positivity among users of a platform, but as time progressed, the like button became a way to see how worthy you are of a person. The less likes you have, the worthless you become. At least that's how us teenagers feel about it, which makes us spend even more time on our devices, seeking these virtual validations that in reality mean absolutely nothing. There's a specific part of the brain called the nucleus accumbens, which is a part of the brain word secretary that is found to be active when we saw someone we love or when money. A study of teenagers ages 13 to 18 from the UCLA Brain Mapping Center showed that this part, which is highly sensitive during the teen years, was especially active when we saw large amount of numbers of likes on our photos. Edward Tucci said there are only two organizations that call their customer users: illegal drugs and software. But what does this have to do with your topic, you might ask? Well, users are given to people who are addicts. And because likes increase dopamine, just as cocaine and other drugs do, we teenagers start craving more of these likes. Sometimes even start begging for them, which slowly turns us into addicts. Now, these two major points show us that we need to step up and do something about these malicious acts. And the least that you and I can do is turning off our notifications. So let's all step up and turn off our notifications for a better world, shall we? Thank you.
Now, taking a break from all, we have a new segment called a show hosted by Taifa Minham, where she interviews Yasmin and Musa.
We're going live in a sec. Oh, okay. Let me try this again. Ew, besties, how are y'all doing? We're live. You didn't tell. Oh my god. Okay. Hello and welcome everyone to the first and maybe last episode of Talks with If, where we have a splendid interview with the beautiful blogger Yasmin. Can I hear something for Yasmin? All right, so we're gonna start with the first question, which is Yasmin. How are you this good, mashallah?
First of all, thank you for having me. And to answer your question, actually, I wasn't really into vlogging until we had a very interesting language arts slash computer project where we had to perform 3 acts of kindness and reflect on them. So while filming my videos, I focused on the interesting parts so people enjoy watching them.
Oh yeah, the Acts of Kindness project. So can you tell me the aspects of the project? Like, how did you guys do it?
Well, we had to perform 3 acts of kindness, family kindness, self-kindness, and a kindness of our choice, and where we interact with others and answer the big question, which was how do our interactions define us?
So you mentioned human interaction. Cool. So can you actually talk about more of the human interaction? How do you guys actually connect all of these with the actual performance task?
Well, I learned a lot of stuff, but the most important thing was that I learned to appreciate everything in my life, my family, my friends, even the time I spend with myself.
Cool. Okay. So I remember you mentioned that this performance task is connected to the computer performance task. You did, right? All right. So can you actually tell us the aspects that you guys even used? Like, I remember Filmora editing more, but can you actually add?
Well, thanks to Miss Raib, she taught us how to professionally edit videos through Filmora, where we edited the videos and took care of every little detail from every aspect, such as music volume and brightness and all those other things.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty easy, isn't it? Like connecting two different performance tasks. That would be more easier.
Yeah, it was way easier, and I actually had fun.
Me too. All right, so we're not done with this interview. I have a great surprise for y'all. The best fan of Yasmin you'd ever find in the whole entire world. Hey, dude, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi, dude.
Are you the artistic vlogger Yasmin?
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh my god, I can't believe this. I'm actually talking to you. I would like to ask you a few questions that have been running through my mind. The other fans sitting in the audience.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, first, what was your reactions to your vlogging?
Well, my family were really supportive, especially my sister. She helped me while filming the videos and gave me some cool ideas.
Okay, second question. Which one of your videos was your favorite?
Well, actually, it was the video presented in the presentation.
Okay, now third and last question. What advice would you give me and your beloved fans?
Learn new things every day. You're never too old to ask questions, nor you know a lot of things to learn something new. Take your time, don't stress, you will succeed.
All right, so I'm guessing we're done with this interview. Thank you guys for having us
Wait,
today.
wait.
What,
Please,
Nujud?
please, have you seen his autograph?
What autograph, Nujud? This is an online interview. Oh my God. Anyways, this is the end of our interview. Thank you guys for having me today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, favorite, comment. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. Maybe not.
As I was telling you, you should definitely aim for this new project.
I'm sorry, why would I aim for the new project while I could just sit in my room on my bed and do my own thing?
Wait, what is sitting on your bed and not doing anything for you? It's not going to help you grow. And I know that you're sick of this cliche, but you have to seek discomfort.
Discomfort again? I'm done with that topic. I don't want to hear it again.
I know. But I will convince you all with subtle advice. Seek discomfort that we will be able to
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Arfa and today I will be talking about seeking discomfort.
When you're a kid, you're never afraid to dream. You dream of soaring the sky like Icarus, visiting the moon, or even becoming the king of the world. You never question if these dreams are possible, but as you grow up, you're told your dreams are out of the realm of possibility, and what you truly wish for in life is unachievable. People who seek discomfort, despite the adversity, are pioneers who are able to change and influence the world. Seeking discomfort is how we grow and evolve as human beings. Bearing through a state of unease contributes to your growth by pushing you to develop inner potential that will add value to your self concept. According to Jordan Peterson, scientists have analyzed data that led them to discover new genes in the nervous system, which are only activated once an organism has positioned itself in a new environment. Such research claims that most of you is still incomplete. Therefore, you must expose yourself to different situations in order to welcome growth. And to welcome growth, one must embrace discomfort, since it's the key to infinite opportunities for development. Hearing this, you're probably thinking, why would I put myself in a state of unease when I could enjoy comfort? Well, the transparent wall you have created around yourself to protect you from new environments is going to murder all possibilities of future ideal opportunities. To further explain, by cornering yourself and facing away from the rest of the world, you are limiting yourself by not truly experiencing what you're capable of accomplishing. As a matter of fact, giving this speech is a colossal discomfort to me, But after a long thought process, I had figured out that avoiding such opportunity because of the fear of discomfort is absurd. This actively illustrates that situations which radiate discomfort help you overcome mental limitations, leading to psychological growth. After all, we're a speck of dust in the greater cosmos, and one day the sun will swallow the earth, and the only home we'll ever have is going to collapse. Once you realize the insignificance of everything around you in the grand scheme of things, you begin to understand that the one thing you have full control of is your life and how you choose to live it. I know discomfort can be intimidating. You're looking around and it's all odd and different, but meeting these situations eye to eye with the determination of an eagle is how we bloom as human beings.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to seek discomfort.
Yes. Can you hear me? Okay. Hey. Have you ever been locked up with your negative thoughts that your whole mindset got paralyzed with negativity? Well, today you'll have to tune up to Mrs. Fatma Al-Marzougi, certified HR professional, manager, NLP master practitioner, that's going to tell you a speech about knowing more how to create a positive mindset.
I am a working mother of 3 children who 9 years back felt extremely overwhelmed and stressed because of her ambition to achieve her dreams and create a successful life. Although my objectives and goals were very clear and specific, I have done so little to get closer to them, and in many situations, I have done nothing at all. I was not the only person who's been in that situation. I have noticed that many of the people whom I know in my life were in the similar situation, just struggling in other areas of life: finance, career, health, relationship. Do you know someone who want to be healthy and fit though do exercises occasionally, rarely, never? Yes, I do, and I bet you do too. From there, my lifelong self-development study started, motivated with a curiosity and a desire to know why we limit ourselves by producing actions that doesn't support our goals. To understand what limits us, we need to understand the other factors that drive a behavior. The main elements behind an actions are: first, thoughts, also referred to as the intellectual mind. Thoughts are what's going in our mind. Thoughts can be constructive or limiting and destructive. They are the meaning we are giving to the things and the events going in our life. Second, emotions, also referred to as emotional body. It's simply how we feel about an event or a situation in our life. Sad, happy, angry, anxious, excited. Third, physicality, also referred to our physical body. It's how our body reacts to a certain event. Example of that can be changes in our heartbeat, stressfulness, shaking hands, tenseness, and the last thing is the behavior. Behavior is how we react to a certain event in our life. All of these elements are strongly linked and directly influencing each other. A thought is like a seed that will determine the type of fruit you will have. Thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings drive our behavior. It's crazy to plant an orange seed and expect to have a banana. Negative thought will create negative feeling and will drive negative behavior. To achieve a positive result in your life, you need to have an empowering beliefs that support your goals. The state of your life now, whether it was your home, your career, your health, is a result of the thoughts that you have entertained in the past. Simply, you become what you think. Let's demonstrate this approach through an example of a girl that she has an important admission exam to the university. If the thought that she had associated with this was negative, like I can't do it, it's too difficult for me, I'm not smart enough to pass this exam, then definitely the feelings that will be produced would be negative. Feeling of fear, anxiety, stressful, and the result of that, her performance in the exam will be affected. But if she replaced these thoughts with a positive one, I can do it, I will be accepted, definitely the feeling that will be produced will be positive, feeling of confidence, excitement, and motivation. As a result of that, definitely her performance in the exam will be affected and the quality of her study too. Not change anything if we can change our thinking. Changing the dominant negative thinking pattern starts by listening to your mind and identify these negative thoughts that you are holding against life in general, against people, or against yourself. As soon as you become aware about these thoughts, don't entertain them or dwell in them. Acknowledge their existence without engagement. Then immediately replace them with another empowering and positive thought. Use also your action to change your feelings. So as soon as you notice that you are dwelling to a negative thought, move, have a bath, go for a walk, listen for a motivational song, do something you really enjoy. I have learned how to achieve different results through changing my thinking patterns. My today mantra: I'm the master of my fate, I'm the captain of my soul, and so you are.
Hold on a second. That chocolate milk you're drinking, that's actually a poison. It's because of the high sugar content in it. I'll prove it to you in my speech. Sugar is a poison.
I'll leave you to it.
It's 7 a.m. in the morning. It's 7 a.m. in the morning, and you need to give your kids breakfast. You head downstairs, grab 2 cans of beer. It's 7 a.m. in the morning, and you need to give your kids breakfast. You head downstairs, grab 2 cans of beer, and hand them over to your kids. Now, that sounds wrong, doesn't it? Okay, how about this? You head downstairs and grab a special kind of beer that doesn't have the immediate effect of getting drunk, but all of the other effects in the body. Still not there you go? Sounds outrageous, doesn't it? If you think twice before serving them sugary cereal, or a donut, for example. Sugar is acknowledged that it's bad, but it's not considered a poison like alcohol is. And I'm here to argue today that it should be. Sugar is poisonous to your liver. We know that alcoholics are at high risk of liver disease, but actually the substance in alcohol, ethanol, that makes it so bad for your liver is similar to a substance in sugar called fructose. Fructose is what makes sweet things sweet. It's found in things like fruits and honey, and it's one of the 2 components that make up sugar. But fructose can also be incredibly harmful. And without fiber to slow down the consumption of fructose, like it does in fruit, fructose can lead to fatty liver disease, just like alcohol does. So by consuming sugar, your liver can end up in a similar state as an alcoholic's. Sugar is addictive. We all know that drugs are particularly bad because of their addictive quality, but sugar can be just as bad. We use addiction to describe a tragic situation where someone's brain chemistry has been altered to compel them to repeat an action or substance despite harmful consequences. Sugar fits into that description. Dopamine, or reward hormone, leads to addiction. And sugar releases dopamine in the brain. When we consume sugar, we want to consume even more, just like a drug. And despite its harmful effects in the body, we won't be able to stop. Something that's so similar to something that's this bad shouldn't be normalized as it is. And yet, we consume it in large amounts and view it as something that is completely normal. Well, we can see in this brain scan here, there's undeniable similarity between a cocaine addict's brain and the brain of someone who is addicted to sugar. Alcoholics, drug addicts. Drugs and alcohols are both terrible things, viewed as terrible things, as poisons. And yet, sugar can be on a similar level. So let's view it like it is. Let's not sugarcoat it. Sugar is a poison. Thank you. Yeah. Day 100 as usual me happened once again. That feeling of constantly eating on my own flesh, so tired of being angry on myself, of blaming no other than me. Day 100 as usual me happened once again. That feeling of constantly eating on my own flesh, so tired of being angry on myself, of screaming on myself, of being angry on no other than me, of begging myself to perish. I'd always whisper that I'm wrong, that everything's broken after my touch, that I always beat my soul to the ground, for why would the air turn brown if it's not I? I could have cried to God, may air stay clear forever. So when shall I understand what I say and what I know? I tell you forever that it isn't personally my fault. Life can ruin things by itself, that no one can be the single source of chaos, that not all rules have exceptions. But it seems that I cannot believe what I know to be true. I seem to see myself so clear, that I'm the source of this tornado that will tear down everything from small towns to big cities. I wish I would comprehend that I didn't put a hole in that sinking ship, that I wasn't the one who sabotaged that parachute, that a manufacturing defect could have happened long before I came along. That I can be oblivious to how to fix things, or how to know to fix things from going completely wrong. That I can be incapable of finding that needle in a haystack when I'm in no possession of mine. Dear me, I wish that with all this consciousness, we learn to stop the stress. We learn to stop blaming
yourself for nothing but ruin.
Uh, why why do you all seem so blue?
Well, don't you know that it's certainly our cue to say farewell, goodbye, and adieu? No way, we're already through.
It's okay. We've come a long road, us and you.
But may we meet again when the masks are off and flu?
And the stage is full with real people, no barriers in view.
But for now, we have to say
Farewell, goodbye, and adieu.
افتح اللمبات اوكي مس